December 26, 2004. The ocean suddenly disappeared. The sky went silent, and one animal, a simple water buffalo, began to run for its life. What it sensed in that moment saved an entire village. This is not folklore. This is a real miracle, witnessed by survivors. And hidden inside this story is a Bible truth we must not ignore. This is the story of the buffalo that saw the wave, a tsunami miracle, and a warning for our time. In Phang province, Thailand, there was a quiet coastal village where life followed the rhythm of the sea. Sunrise meant fishing. Sunset meant rest. The days were predictable, peaceful, and full of the simple joys of community and family. For one young boy, life was especially sweet because he had a constant companion, his closest friend, a strong, loyal water buffalo. This wasn't just a work animal. It was part of his family. He spent his mornings brushing its coarse hair, feeling the warmth of the sun through the trees, talking to it as it chewed contentedly, in a world that can often be loud and confusing. This buffalo was his peace. He had no idea that in just a few short hours, that same gentle creature would become his salvation. That morning, the sea began to behave strangely. Villagers would live by chores their entire lives had never seen anything like it. The water started to pull back, receding far beyond its normal low tide mark. It was as if a giant, invisible hand was pulling the ocean away from the land, exposing vast stretches of the seabed. Coral reefs that were normally deep underwater were now visible. Shells of all shapes and sizes lay scattered across the wet sand. Fish, caught by surprise, flopped and struggled, trapped in shallow pools. The sight was mesmerizing. Some villagers looked on with a sense of wonder. They called out to each other, their voices filled with excitement. "Look, the water is disappearing," one shouted. Another speculated, "Maybe it's a blessing from the sea. It's given us a gift." The idea spread like wildfire. Children, laughing and squealing with delight, began running down onto the newly exposed beach, eager to collect the exotic shells and catch the stranded fish. Their parents followed, caught up in the strange, festive atmosphere. They were completely unaware that they were stepping directly toward their deaths. This bizarre gift from the sea was actually a deadly invitation. But away from the beach, something else was happening. The boy's buffalo, which had been peacefully grazing, suddenly stopped eating. Its massive head lifted sharply, ears twitching, scanning the horizon. Its muscles, usually relaxed, stiffened and tensed. Its eyes grew wide. A low, almost imperceptible vibration trembled through the ground, a tremor so faint that no human could feel it. But the buffalo felt it. Its whole body responded. Animals often sense what humans, distracted by their own thoughts and plans, completely ignore. With a sudden, guttural snort, the buffalo stomped the earth. Its calm demeanor vanished, replaced by an overwhelming sense of urgency. Without any warning, it began to run, not in a panic, scattering randomly away from some perceived danger, but with a clear, determined purpose. It ran straight up the hill, away from the village and the receding ocean. The boy, holding the rope tied to the buffalo, was caught completely by surprise. "Hey, stop. Where are you going?" he yelled, trying to pull the massive animal back. But the buffalo was relentless. It was a force of nature in itself, and it wouldn't stop. It pulled the boy along, dragging him with all its strength, away from the deadly allure of the empty beach. As the boy was being pulled uphill, Shouts echoed from the beach below. Some of the villagers who saw them running were confused, even amused. "Where are you running?" One called out, "Come back. The beach is beautiful today." Another yelled, waving them back, "The sea is calm." They shouted, trying to reassure them that there was nothing to fear. They saw the buffalo's frantic behavior as foolishness, a strange overreaction to a beautiful, peculiar day. But the buffalo's cries grew louder and more desperate. Its bellows echoed through the village like a trumpet blast, a primal, urgent warning. For a few villagers, the sound cut through the excitement. It sparked a flicker of fear in their hearts. They looked at the frantic animal on the hill, then back at the unnaturally calm sea, and a cold dread began to rise in their chests. Something wasn't right. Trusting this gut feeling over their own eyes, they turned away from the beach and began to follow the buffalo uphill. They started running, their anxious faces turned back towards the ocean, the wind suddenly picking up around them. On the hilltop, the buffalo stood, breathing hard, its body trembling, looking back at the sea as if waiting for the enemy it knew was coming. And then it happened. The horizon, which had been a flat, straight line, began to curve upwards. A white line appeared in the distance and grew with terrifying speed. It wasn't a normal wave. It was a towering monster of water, a liquid wall that rose higher and higher, roaring as it approached the shore with the force of 1,000 earthquakes. The tsunami crashed onto the village. The sound was deafening, a thunderous roar of destruction that consumed everything. Homes built of wood and thatch were not just flooded, they were obliterated, disappearing in an instant. Fishing boats were tossed like toys and shattered into splinters. The morning's peace was replaced by absolute chaos and destruction. In a matter of minutes, where a vibrant village once stood, there was only churning, debris-filled water. But on the hill, a small group of survivors wept, looking down at the devastation below. They were alive. Those who had followed the buffalo lived. On that day, God used one animal to save dozens of lives. This incredible true story echoes a profound truth found throughout the Bible. God almost always warns before destruction comes. Think of Noah's Ark. The Bible tells us in Genesis that before the floodwaters came, the animals went into the ark two by two. They were the first to sense the coming storm and obey the call to safety. They moved before the first drop of rain fell. Or consider the prophet Elijah. After a great display of power, God spoke to him not in the wind, the earthquake, or the fire, but in a still, small voice. God's warnings often don't come with flashing light and loud sirens. They come as whispers to our spirit, as signs in the world around us, and sometimes through the most unexpected messengers, like a loyal water buffalo. And most importantly, Jesus himself gave us warnings about the end times. He said in Matthew chapter 24, "Therefore be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect." Just as the villagers on that beach didn't expect the wave, many people today are ignoring the signs of the times. We live in a world that is full of warnings. We see natural disasters increasing in frequency and intensity. We see violence, division, and hearts growing cold. We see a moral collapse happening all around us. Yet, so many people, just like those villagers on the beach, look around and say, "Everything looks fine to me." They say, "The world is calm. Life is normal. Stop being so alarmist." They are enjoying the strange treasures on the exposed seabed, completely oblivious to the towering wave just over the horizon. But God is still sending out his warnings. He sends them through sermons that convict our hearts. He sends them through the timeless truths of Scripture. He sends them through loving people who care enough to speak an uncomfortable truth. And sometimes, as the story of the buffalo shows, he even uses creation itself to get our attention. The buffalo stands as a powerful symbol, a guardian who sensed the danger and acted. The buffalo didn't understand the science of plate tectonics or tsunamis. It couldn't read weather charts or geological surveys, but it obeyed a deep, powerful instinct placed within it by its creator. And because that young boy trusted his friends, because a few villagers chose to heed that strange warning, they lived. Today, some of God's warnings might look strange to the world. Some of his messages might be unpopular or easily ignored. But if you feel God whispering to your heart today, if you feel that same uneasy sense that something isn't right, please don't stay on the beach. Don't be lulled into a false sense of security. Run to higher ground. Run to him. If this story touched you, don't just scroll away. Share this message with someone you know who needs courage and a reason to look up. And if you want to be ready for whatever's coming, comment below, Lord, make me ready so we can stand with you and pray for you. There is still time to run to higher ground, and that higher ground is Jesus Christ. He is our refuge and our fortress, our safe place in the storm. Thank you for watching.
It starts to grow.